Marvel Rivals Chads, we are less than 2 weeks away from Season 3, and the developers have just given us our first look at the newest heroes coming to this game, Jean Grey and Blade. Now we're gonna go ahead and watch this teaser trailer and then dive into the Marvel Rivals devlog to see all the changes that are coming in the new season. And it's currently July 1st, and I'm not gonna upload this until we have all the trailers, leaks, and rumors related to Season 3, so this can be a comprehensive list for you as the viewer. Comment how you're feeling about all this new stuff as we go through these trailers, and let's start with the Season 3 teaser. The Abyss awakens. Fire and shadows collide on July 1st, and Hela is the chosen villain of Null. Null is the origin point of all symbiotes in the Marvel Universe. Venom, Carnage, every single one. Hela is the god of death after all, so that does make sense. First appearance of the Phoenix. And this is really cool because we know that she's going to kind of be a verse duelist. She'll have a Phoenix form as well as her regular form. And we have some hints as to her kit, but I'm not going to do those rumors. We're just going to wait for the trailer. Blade as well. Long awaited. And I just want to say the appearance of Blade tells me that the Blade movie is in really dire straits. At this point, I expect that movie to end up on Disney Plus, directed by Ryan Coogler, but at the very least, Coogler finishes his project, so I would have no problem with that. There's also a Blade solo game in the works, but I think it's incredibly unlikely to come out at this point. If I recall correctly, Blade is the very last hero we had from the hero leaks in summer of 2024. So at this point, it's going to be all new heroes. The animation on that is crazy, wow. I would love to see some Marvel Rivals animated episodes. That's fantastic. And you see how the Phoenix goes inside of Jean Grey and empowers her. And it actually follows her around a bit. So she's got blast, it got blast. It does some sort of double blast, kind of like a Psylocke synergy with Emma Frost. And Blade looking very royal. Now, Blade isn't going to come until the second half of Season 3. They are switching the way they're doing seasons. Instead of 3 months long and introducing a new hero every new rank leg, it's only going to be 2 months long. And I'm pretty sure they will reset the ranks in Season 3, but not during the season. It's going to be one new hero every single month from here on out, which is definitely going to be a test for the Marvel Rivals devs to see if they can keep up with that, see if they can keep these heroes unique. That's the real key here. Very nice. We also have some look at their synergies, and we'll dive into that here in a sec. But first, I want to dive into the devlogs, because these devlogs will tell us all the major changes coming in Season 3 to the systems, to the outfits and skins. This here is the nitty gritty, and then we'll go into the character trailers, because the character trailers are not actually uploaded while we're reacting to this. Volume 7, by the way, there have been quite a few of these. I'm actually most interested in the synergies. Those are the ones that I really care about the most. I think they're the most game defining. The new map is Celestial Husk, Klyntar. We have a Klyntar map, it's a convergence. Phoenix will be the first one, of course. Jean Grey. She's a ranged duelist. Very nice. Pressured tightly grouped enemies and is about flanking. I don't think she's going to be flying though, so she'll be a lot different from Human Torch. Some people were thinking she'd be a lot more like Human Torch, and that's actually very good. I think Human Torch probably could use a little bit of a nerf still at this point. And she can clear enemy summons. Wow, that's actually huge. So I think this is directed specifically at something like Loki. But if we're talking about enemy summons, it's also going to include Rocket Raccoon totems, possibly even Emma Frost's shield. I'm not so sure on that. That'll require testing once we actually get our hands on the character. 4 new team-ups, retiring 2. They've added 7 new heroes, and I want to actually point this out for everyone in the audience. They've increased the hero pool by 20% in the 6 to 8 months that this game has actually been out. No one could ever accuse Marvel Rivals of not delivering on the content. They've also changed up the majority of the synergies in that time. People may have problems with this game, but it's never gonna be lack of content, that's for sure. Over 70% of all team-up ability updated at least, not removed or added, but they have taken heroes in and out of certain synergies. So I guess they're including that as well. A brand new competitive mode in the latter half of Season 3.5. These are only 2-month seasons, so what are they talking about? The last 2 weeks of Season 3? That will be right after Blade gets added to the season, so it's possible they're talking something similar to Ultron Battle Protocol. Not exactly that mode, but if it's like a Blade-specific mode with its own letterboard, I could definitely see that. Battle Pass price unchanged, staying the same length. And we actually got to look at some of the skins here. So a lot of Venom skins. You got a Venom Raccoon, a Venom Jeff, Venom Squirrel Girl as well. All the animals got the symbiote. That's kind of cool. And then Phoenix Force, Emma Frost, and definitely a lot more. We're gonna have to wait for the trailer to actually see the depths of this battle pass. And they're also gonna restructure how challenges work so that people can get the stuff faster. I guess that was kind of a complaint, right? That like if you weren't doing your dailies every single day, it was kind of hard to finish these battle passes. So overall W, major W right here. New layer of accessories. Oh my god, like clips. Back blings, actually. I had so many people complaining when I talked about back blings, saying this game isn't Fortnite. And here we are, baby. Back blings on your Jeff the Land Shark, and it's Deadpool too. Teasing at another hero that's gonna come out in the future. We do have a couple of leaks surrounding Deadpool, but nothing concrete. Chroma color variants, more variant colors, nice, this is good. And hopefully they expand these color systems as well. Ultimate VFX, what is this? For clarity, effects are only visible to you, and other players will see the original effects. Okay, so you can't like make a competitive colored skin and try to do some sneaky stuff like you would do in a game like Fortnite, hiding in the shadows, hiding in the shrubbery, or anything like that. That's good. Maintains competitive integrity, though I do hope at some point they just bring a color wheel system to some of these skins, because that's really what it's moving towards. That's what people really want. The unstable molecule system. Okay, so what she's doing here is combining the ultimate VFX with a skin that doesn't have those VFX. So they're trying to open up all the skin systems to be mixed and matched here is what it looks like. The MVP free equip, yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. Mix and match MVP animations to skins that don't have MVPs. So this makes the legendary skins a bit more valuable actually, because you can use the MVPs on any skin. And then the lobby backgrounds, wow, that's super cool. Look at that Jeff the Shark, he's actually underwater. So the skin influences the entire lobby's aesthetic. That's really cool. What a vibe. Oh, you can actually look at the cinematics for the maps as well. I'm telling you, I gotta really dive deep into the lore for Season 3. If you guys want a complete lore video, I'm willing to do that. If there's enough interest, let me know in the comments down below. A new event tab, making the missions a lot easier to read, and this is actually very necessary. I feel like the mission screen was super bare bones. And you can actually look at your challenges once the match ends. Thank God. What is this? College student perks. Verified university students get costume trials. Get 10 costumes and MVPs. That's kind of odd. The only reason I could think of this existing is because collegiate esports, right? I don't know, what a strange system. Tell me how you guys are feeling on this one in the comments. I've never heard of anything like this in any other game ever before. Discord integration upgrade. Actually, this might be game changing here. New update supports latest Discord, reconnect your Discord account, so we can just have in-game chat purely through Discord. That's pretty cool, actually, so you can, you know, maintain a little bit of moderation. Okay, the top 8 teams from every region, and they're gonna go to an offline playoff. Here we go, we're talking Marvel Rivals Esports, baby. And we definitely gotta go back and review the North American finals for this channel, but they're actually gonna have the first official tournament LAN, and this is really what matters here. In China too, everyone's gonna have to go to China. Okay, now we're talking team up abilities, nerfs, buffs, all the things that actually matter for playing these heroes. They're gonna put new team up abilities every half season actually. They're not gonna drop them all right here when Season 3 launches. Some people like to get, you know, stationary, get used to a meta, but I think the majority of casual people, they want to play when things are new, and if you keep things new, it'll keep it interesting for them. So first we have Phoenix and Wolverine. Oh, that's big. So when Wolverine dives, he's gonna actually apply a burning effect to people in his radius. Dude, he's just gonna be even more insane than he is. Granted, he has some counters, but this is gonna make his elimination confirms like so much simpler. Human Torch and Spider-Man. Interesting. Burning and web sticking. Shoots the flame web, comes back. I don't really know much about Spider-Man. My brother is a high-level Spider-Man player, so I should get him to teach me this character in another video. Because I think, yeah, this is just gonna make him even more dynamic. They took away his symbiote team-up, but this is, I think, gonna make him a little bit more deadly than that was, because that was kind of a stall, wasn't it? And he says that they work in different ways, so you combine them for new combos, never before seen. Now the adjustments to existing team-ups, here we go. Oh, they're gonna vault the Human Torch and the Storm. Oh, that's kind of sad, but they're gonna vault Squirrel Girl and Spider-Man's team up. That one is so rare, actually. I guess they don't want to give you too many things to learn at any one time in the game. Like, if they just left all the team-ups in the game, it would be just a steep learning curve. It might actually intimidate newer players. But I felt like that one was kind of an Easter egg. I don't know if anyone was really using it to its true potential, even at the higher levels, because that's a very situational DPS combo right there. But hey, I definitely agree with getting rid of Human Torch and Storm, because when you combine that with the Jeff the Shark ultimate, you got like a 24-second Storm ultimate, complete trump card ultimate combo, and those are just kind of unhealthy for the game. We have symbiote shenanigans. Hela. Okay, that makes sense in the lore, since she's the goddess of death taking Null's power. And her stun ball actually tethers them in now. That's pretty useful. Not too overpowered, but hey, that's kind of a long reach. Not too overpowered though. Pretty useful for her because she's all about getting headshots. And then Squirrel Girl joins the Stark protocol for no reason. Her squirrel goes on a homing fist. Oh, that's actually kind of cool. I love that she just does the silliest stuff in this game. But in reality, the balancing thing here is that she's very bad against flying heroes. And I don't think they're going to directly nerf all the flying heroes. Rather, they want people to just pick certain characters or get better at aiming. But Squirrel Girl really has nothing she can do against like a really agile flying character. So this at least gives her some guaranteed damage in that situation. It's not gonna eliminate the other player, but it can make the difference. I'm just wondering when she's gonna get the Infinity Gauntlet though. Everyone knows Squirrel Girl's the most powerful hero in the Marvel Universe. Don't worry, the squirrel bails out before the blast. You just gotta make sure no animals were harmed in the making of this team up. Now I don't think they're gonna get too deep into the balance changes here, but they're gonna target some heroes. Ultron changed the way the game played. That is 100% true because he enables all the flying heroes to play very independently. Mantis kind of did that job, but his permanent drone really changes the way a hero can flank, a hero can tank off angles, and they don't have to worry about healing themselves at all. And that also gave him the ability, like the developer is saying, it also gave him the ability to charge up his ultimate incredibly fast, and that's why you saw people getting an insane amount of MVPs with Ultron, because he was just a stat generator. Healing, damage prevented, damage output, he was just cranking up his stats. Rushdown comps built around 2 hit scan duelists, and of course paired with the double shield Vanguard became the preference. Hulk actually super underrated in this instance since he can spread his bubbles. Wolverine did come back into play as well. Wolverine gonna get even more powerful next season, so I don't know what they're talking about. Emma Frost a dominant force, but I definitely felt like she lost a lot during the flying meta. Now this is interesting what they're talking about. He's saying that Magneto paired with a Captain America or a Venom was actually particularly devastating. And consider that the developers are looking at a top-down perspective on these stats, so they're really seeing the nitty-gritty of what works and what doesn't. What I take from this is that Captain America and Venom can be really belligerent in the back line, and then Magneto is very, very good at protecting the front line. And at the critical moments when the enemy might actually eliminate your Venom or your Captain America, Magneto can just throw a shield bubble on him. And it's crazy that they're starting to target this now, because I feel like this has kind of been the reality since Season 0. Though these heroes have kind of vacillated in power individually, they work very well together. Nerfing Emma Frost, here we go. Buffing Venom and the Thing. He just said Venom, well, Venom kind of struggles on his own. Thing has a new ability called Battle Blitz. Jump directly to a selected enemy and use the Stonemaker. Okay, so he can target his Haymaker at someone in the air and just fly at them. This was something I was kind of already trying to do, jumping haymakers, but this is going to make that so much easier. And this is actually pretty smart lore-wise too, because it matches Mr. Fantastic's bounce ability that also grounds the flying heroes. Pretty much what we're saying, boys, is that flying heroes are a skill check, and if you're really legitimately getting checked by them, there are more tools than ever in Season 3. Like Punisher, but apparently they're gonna nerf him. His turret was too powerful, charging up his ultimate incredibly fast, that's true. Here's the thing about DPS ultimates, they're entirely related to damage, and Punisher got an overall damage buff. Check one of my recent videos about that. So he was just grinding out these ultimates. Punisher is a very, very devastating hero, and I think even though they're going to nerf him a little bit, he's still going to be very, very devastating, critical to patrolling the flying meta. Toning down Mr. Fantastic's survivability in the big mode, unnecessary. I could see how Mr. Fantastic filters people at the lower levels, but I feel like he's a skill check. Once you start getting into gold and higher, Mr. Fantastic starts to get hard countered by some other heroes like Namor. And Namor actually getting an attack boost. Scarlet Witch getting an ultimate boost. So they're gonna nerf the power of the Guardian Revival team up, probably just make the cocoons take longer to spawn, but they're actually gonna increase Mantis's healing and ultimate ability. So Mantis is just gonna get better. And I've been a big fan of Mantis for a long time because she gives power boosts. And power boosts are a very underrated mechanic at the low levels. Invisible Woman better healing, she kind of needs it. She honestly does need it compared to something like a Loki. Nerfing Loki's ult charge, by the way, very, very good. Ultron's strength has exceeded expectations. Yeah, I would say he is meta-defining. I don't think anyone expected him to be that meta-defining. What's crazy is the pros thought he was underpowered when they first played him. But it looks like that's it for all the minor changes. We'll get some bigger patch notes later, and we'll probably dive into those when Season 3 actually arrives, because I prefer to experience the heroes rather than just go through a checklist of buffs and nerfs. Now let's check out the trailer for the newest duelist coming to Marvel Rivals, Jean Grey. And I've been hearing rumors and suspicions that Blade might actually be a Vanguard, and I think it's pretty likely because I doubt Marvel Rivals devs will put out 2 duelists in a season. Especially when Jean Grey herself appears to be so devastating. So her whole thing is she focuses on chain reaction. She can mark different targets and then make her attacks ricochet between them, very similar to a Moon Knight. And that means if you're trying to contest her, like multiple people at once, she has a good advantage there. She's also going to be surprisingly effective against Vanguard heroes, as we can see here. Putting in a lot of work on these Vanguards. And then her movement ability actually gives her like an overdrive form to her powers, because you can see how there's a massive explosion in there. And it's actually possible, if we look that back, that confirming eliminations could cause a detonation effect. As we see in the middle of there, we have little phoenix symbols. So that might be the real key to her power. If the enemies are playing too close together, they are going to get punished for it. We keep going. This is a better example of her movement ability. She has a fade away and a flying ability. And then boom, the flying ability actually enhances her primary fire. And of course, we got to check out the ultimate because everyone is talking about this. She goes right through a Hela ultimate, and I believe a Hela ultimate has like 10,000 HP. So that would make her ultimate very devastating. That would make it more powerful than an Iron Man or a Scarlet Witch ultimate. But what I think it is here is that, much like her primary fire, it probably does damage relative to the people in the radius of the attack. So we'll notice that when she comes down, we got a Psylocke, a Rocket Raccoon, a Groot. She went through the Hela, and it's quite possible the Penny Totem and the Rocket Totem activate this chain reaction effect as well. Because notice her kill feed here. Rocket Raccoon pops up like 5 times, which is absolutely insane. So though she isn't going to be a flying hero, she is going to be very powerful, very influential on the current meta, and in many ways she helps to counter flyers by kind of warding them away, keeping them from being with the team, and she kind of protects herself from getting dove on too, just by virtue of having such high movement and punishing people who try to gang up on her. We also got a trailer for the new map, Klyntar, Celestial Husk, and there's a lot of lore on this map actually, considering that Noel is the villain of this season. He has actually killed Celestials before, and he used a celestial head to forge the Necro Sword. And the Necro Sword is one of the most powerful items in the entire Marvel universe, and we're seeing a lot of little things on this. We have, I believe that's the Phoenix Egg right there, locked up. And the whole thing about Null is it's just a giant symbiote, by the way. It got some crust on it after a time. Hold up, what is this? Is that the Phoenix Egg itself? I wonder, because people were thinking this was the Phoenix Egg, but if Phoenix is in the game, that doesn't really make sense, does it? Yeah, we can see the giant celestial hand here, just a piece of the whole, probably bigger than the planet, and of course, the giant Necrosword just standing in the totem. And from the trailer we saw earlier, we can actually theorize that Blade will probably get his hands on the Necrosword as part of this storyline. Blade coming out and becoming one of the most important heroes in the game lore-wise, and next season will lead us into Halloween, so I'm very interested to see how that shakes out as well. And this looks to actually be a capture point map, which is good. I like that they're kind of taking the pre-existing maps, pre-existing themes we have and expanding them with more game modes, because I think Convergence was the only one on Null currently. So not bad. I can't wait to try this out. I hope the capture points are a little bit smaller than Krakoa and Araco though. Depending on what hero you're using, those were massive maps and it was pretty hard to patrol.